tension between drivers and FIA seems to be on the rise once again, with a new episode involving Max Verstappen and a penalty that has generated controversy. During the press conference at the Singapore GP, Verstappen, current three-time world champion, ended up with a controversial phrase when referring to his car's performance in the Azerbaijan GP. Not fluent in his tongue, he stated that "I knew he was FI'd right at the beginning of the classification." The comment, although spontaneous, did not go unnoticed by the International Federation of Motoring, FIA, which decided to investigate the event. The result of the investigation culminated in a punishment where Verstappen was found guilty of violating the International Sports Code, but what drew the most attention was the nature of the sanction imposed. Instead of a fine or loss of positions, the FIA determined that the pilot should provide community services. The decision, described as an obligation to perform some work in the public interest, left the paddock divided and raised debates about the severity of punishments in Formula One. During the post-classification conference on Saturday, the tension was palpable. Verstappen, visibly dissatisfied with the way things were going, refused to answer questions inside the official FIA room, opting to speak only off-site. Meanwhile, other drivers such as Lando Norris and Lewis Hamilton, who placed first and third respectively, were questioned about the penalty applied to the Dutchman. Norris, in his always direct style, did not spare criticism. "I think it's very unfair. I don't agree with any of this," the young Brit declared. For him, the punishment does not reflect the gravity of what happened and ultimately sounds disproportionate. Norris's support of Verstappen was the first sign that the FIA decision wasn't pleasing everyone on the grid, and the conversation was just beginning. Lewis Hamilton, the world's seven-time champion and always an active voice in issues involving Formula One regulation, went even further. Without hiding his disagreement, Hamilton said the punishment was half a joke. He was categorical in saying that the incident was not worthy of such a repercussion, and suggested that Verstappen should even boycott the imposed sanction. This is the pinnacle of sport. Mistakes are made. I certainly wouldn't do that, and I hope Max doesn't, the Brit said, suggesting the three-time champion shouldn't submit to community service. This kind of statement by Hamilton rekindles the discussion about the role of the FIA and how far control over the behaviour of drivers on and off the tracks goes. The question is, are the punishments being applied fairly? Or is it that the pilots, increasingly under pressure, are being treated disproportionately by slips that, in the heat of the moment, can be understood as natural? Now, it's up to you, a fan of Formula One, to comment, did the FIA overdo the punishment of Verstappen, or was fair in applying the sanction? Leave your comment below, and do not forget to subscribe to the channel so you don't miss any news from behind the scenes of the world's biggest category of motoring.